Shread, International Editor of the Cyber Express, and this podcast is coming to you from the Black Hat Security Conference in collaboration with Suraksha Catalyst. And with me today to discuss AI-powered people security are Pavan Kushwaha, founder and CEO of Threatcop, and Gautam Nijhawan, head of cybersecurity at Eikon Therapeutics. Welcome, gentlemen. It's great to be here with you.
Thank you, Paul.
All right. Pavan, why don't we start with you? What are the major trends you're seeing in social engineering and phishing?
So the kind of trend that we've seen so far is that people mix two different kind of things together. So I think previously the email was one of the major attack vectors where the people try to send phishing emails and then click on something and then go and then they got hacked. But now because of the 2FA which is there, right? So what people do is they try to use SMSing as well as wishing, right? Which happens where the place we are sitting, right? MGM Resort got hacked because of wishing, and they try to convince the help desk to change the email ID and those kind of stuff, right? So it is combination of multiple attack vectors like wishing, QR, SMSing, WhatsApp, whatever they can think of, where the corporate controls are not there. So I've seen a lot of trend on that side. We have a close to 3.5 million users on our platform, right? What we also have seen so far is that it has become much more sophisticated AI-based attack. So previously, let's say someone in Pakistan or probably Nigeria, I'm just naming few just countries, but where the maximum attacks are happening, right, in terms of phishing, they do not have a clear understanding of English. There was a spelling mistakes and everything, right? Now, based on your profile, right, which is available on the internet, they can customize a specific attack using AI, right? And that is creating a big problem. And so the attacks are much more getting deeper and deeper. And that's where the people security management comes in play, and you try to avoid that using that particular framework.
Yeah, wow.
Awesome.
Okay, so it's getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting worse.
All right.
But better also because of AI, right?
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Actually, Gautam, why don't we start with you? What can people do to stay on top of these kinds of threats? It seems like employee awareness training just doesn't do the trick.
It doesn't, right? And just to add a little bit what Pavan was saying, right? In the healthcare industry, it is slightly different. We are seeing more spear phishing attacks. So spear phishing essentially is very specific, pointed, laser-focused phishing. So what we're seeing is threat actors are doing their research, right? They're definitely augmenting the phishing with AI because we don't see the generic grammatical mistakes in emails anymore. They're perfect, right? They don't make any kind of punctuation mistake and none of those things. And they do their research on top of that, so they understand the business, they understand whom they're sending the phishing to, right? So they do the OSINT or the social engineering or the social media like LinkedIn, etc. research on their behalf, right? So it's very evident that the phishing is very specific and focused. So the way around it is, the basics, yes, training is required, but on top of that, detection. So there are several tools out there which help you kind of sift through suspicious, malicious emails, and they have AI inbuilt in them. So you can definitely leverage some of those tools, but again, in cybersecurity, it's always to the basics, right? You have to have clients or customers or users who are aware, right? Who are well trained in the latest tactics, right? Techniques and procedures. And then you have to up your ante by, beefing up your detection using AI.
I just have a question, right? Because you're already running awareness programs, right? One is how often you receive reports of people, right, which is getting a sophisticated attack, and also what's your mechanism of, let's say, first of all, identifying them, segregating them, right, and then possibly giving them a solution on an immediate basis, and then what's the training program look like for the new kind of trend that you mentioned, right? The entire thing that is happening.
So there's a lot that needs to happen in the background from a cyber perspective, right? So you have to understand and study the campaigns. So for every company, every health, every industry vertical, right? For example, healthcare, there are specific campaigns and there's specific TTPs assigned to those campaigns. So I guess in a long-winded way, what I'm trying to say is before the email reaches its target, you have to understand why it's being focused, right, to your company or to that specific person, and you have to stop that before it reaches there. Of course, you can't stop all of them. So by the time it reaches there, that's where the training comes into play. And then also when it reaches there, you have to be able to study as to why, right, what filter or what mechanism on your end failed that the email actually reached its target. So in our company, we have a list of what we call as VIPs. That is not necessarily the C-suite. That is, everyone and anyone who has who's close to the business. Let me just say that. And we look at their emails very closely, right? So we look at what reaches them from a spam perspective, from a malicious perspective, especially from a payload perspective. So if there's a payload that reaches them and that goes past our filters, we actually study that and try to understand why that's happening.
Oh, amazing. That's great initiatives.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot.
It is.
There's one incident that I just wanted to share that happened with me day before yesterday. So we use one of the third party, right, SendGrid, and I'm a techie, right? So I received an email, right, and I work in the phishing industry from last 12 years. And the way it was crafted, like interestingly, it is too much of data that they put up. So what happens so far is SendGrid, again, it's a email kind of system where my systems are using SendGrid to send out email, right? So they look at SPF that my SendGrid is there, and then they just see who might be managing it, right? This beautifully crafted without logo. There is the language that you put in that your API limit has been exhausted. Click here to get in this, right? And the first impression that I also had as, is it a real email? Like, is it actually a real email? Then I just do the basic awareness that I have and the based on understanding that I just clicked on the sender, looked at the domain. Oh, this is not again sender, and then I just looked at the entire email. So this was not a SendGrid email. But if I would have clicked it, I think these things would have gone, because obviously being like we are 200 plus people company, right? We still, there are certain accesses that the CTOs and the top level management have, and if they target that management, that's a different level altogether. One more thing that I was surprisingly see, we use Google Workspace, right? It was marked as an important in a Google Workspace. It's like top of my inbox. So yeah, that's something that is I have seen so far in a real life that has been happening.
Wow. Okay, so that all sounds like a lot of work. Is it possible to automate your security defenses against these sort of things?
Yeah. So we use so we call it. Previously, it was called security awareness, like you guys were mentioning, right? The security awareness is getting kind of not that much kind of output, but we call it people security management, right? That's I think the topic for the podcast also. What we do, especially in that case, is that we follow a framework. We call it AAPE, which is assess, aware, protect, and empower. So what we do in assess is that, like I received that phishing email, right? And he also mentioned that he has VIP users in their organization. So what we do is we build up an EVS, Employee Vulnerability Profile, right? So we simulate all kind of attacks. So starting from your phishing, ransomware, QR code, and anything. So before hacker does that, we do it, right? And it works like an AI-based kind of hacker, right? So it automatically simulates all the beautiful attacks that you see so far, again, based on the ONSID, right? And all of those things. And it gives you the sophisticated phishing attacks. And then we track behavior of a user, that how many people opened it, how many clicked it, how many got hacked. And basis on that, we build up that entire behavior profile. Once it's built, now you have two options to do, right? One is what he was mentioning, that we can use AI to protect and try to sanitize the information before it reaches to the inbox, right? So that is something called protection. So you can do a technical control. The other that you can do a psychological control, where the learning management comes in play. So we have a two model, right? AAPE. So the next is aware and protect. In aware, we have Netflix of cybersecurity kind of thing. We have one of the largest content library in the world, right? So you choose what to do, and whenever you see a behavior, you can just align that particular training with that behavior and then give it to the employee. So it is not just random kind of training that is coming to that user. It's very specified for that user based on his role, behavior, as well as the kind of work that you do, right? then go for a protection. I think people have already implemented a lot of controls before they receive the kind of information. And last is empower, what he mentioned, right? Again, what we do is also that we give a button inside your Outlook or a Gmail. You click on that. So it's not a, so whenever you put up an email security kind of stuff or anything like that, the decisions are binary. Either it's yes or it's no, right? That either it will go to the inbox or it will go to the spam or it will not be received by you. But if you use embedded AI, which is trained, so we've trained fine-tuned model, right? In that, what exactly you do is as soon as you click on that button, that gives you the essence of email, why this could be a threat email. So you see a human talking to, as a human expert talking to you, that why this is an email, while the security team get a relax, right? Because the AI is doing their job. So this is what you can generally follow as an AAP. We have seen so far reduction of close to 20 to 30% kind of click rate, which we call a success rate within 3 months of time if the people do that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, just on top of that, right? I mean, tools are tools. You can deploy tools, but end of the day, the human is the weakest link, right? So one of the things I've seen is, in addition to the scoring for the employee, is providing some additional incentive. So I've seen at some of my previous roles where what we've seen is when an employee gets a good score, so they're incentivized with certain kind of wow points or certain points, and they can use those points to buy things actually. So that has worked very well, and I've seen that in play in many companies and many of the Fortune 50 companies.
That's a nice thought to add the whole gamification.
Yeah, you have to incentivize it, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a good score, and then in some places I've also seen if you are, say, in a role which is really important to the company. For example, you are processing millions of dollars of ACH, right? Account transfers, and your score is really low, and you're not able to bring your score up in spite of several efforts. You can actually lose that position, because then you're putting the company at risk.
Yeah.
Right. So that way also, employees can be incentivized to take the training seriously.
Yeah. And I think it's good to do rewards and punish both, right? So if you do better, you get rewarded, and if you...
Yeah, and this is serious, right? I mean, we all know the metrics for business email compromise, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be taken seriously.
Makes sense.
Actually, let's stay with metrics for just a second. Do you have any data or anything to let us know just how successful these efforts have been?
I mean, not off the top of my head, but I do know that the AI tools in play definitely bring the spam and the malicious emails, and especially the payloads, down significantly. I would say upwards of 80%. Some of these AI engines are very, very effective. And again, end of the day, they're a tool, so you have to consistently tune them, provide them feedback, train them, right? And once you do that and they understand kind of the lay of the land of your organization, the percentage or the effectiveness goes up.
Yeah.
I have some of the data because, like I said, we work exclusively in this market. At Threatcop, what we have seen so far is that when a hacker wants to make someone as a target, in 75% of the cases, they get successful. And that's a huge number, right? So let's say if I wanted to hack someone, right, I can definitely hack, and my chances of getting success is 75%, right? The other part is, if you look at the data, right, be it different reports across the world, you'll find whenever these such kind of attacks happens, right, it does not happen for like they do not bypass your firewalls, antiviruses and all that kind of thing. They actually hack your people first. So the first I'd say entry method that the people use is human, right, is people. And from there, they actually go and then do all of those exercises, be it MNS, be it the MGM resort, and these are like public data that you can just go and internet, search out. There's a Uber attack, there's Dropbox, and there are tons of things that has happened so far in the past. And what significantly work, right, is these people security management kind of stuff, where what we have seen so far is that the click rate on, so ultimately what the people are doing, either they're clicking and submitting the information in some of the phishing sites or some of the places, right? So if you do these continuous exercises, the rate that we have seen so far is, let's say, initially the click rate was, let's say, 20-30%, right? It reduced to 2% kind of thing, right? And it varies to industry, right? So every other manufacturing has a very different click rate, which is like much more higher, right? Because the people are not tech savvy, while the IT has a very different rate. But if you compare, you still have, I've not seen any of the people, like companies that we have worked and we have talked to a lot of CISOs, which either using our product or not using Threatcop, but I've never seen someone says that I have a less than 2% click rate, right? Means if the hacker targets 100 people, out of them 2 is gonna fail for sure. So they still have this target unless we make our people security management so much strong, it is still difficult to kind of save them from those kind of attacks, especially social media attacks, because these are like humans, right? Human talking to human. So you cannot put technology at every other place. So ultimately it boils down to the security awareness trainings. Yeah.
Okay, so one final question. Where should people start? Like, what are some easy wins?
Okay, and can you just elaborate a little bit more in terms of awareness, in terms of protecting people? What exactly you wanted to understand?
If someone wants to reduce the rate of people clicking on phishing emails, what's the best place to start?
I think we can have 2 different answers here. One is
Which is totally fine.
he can just give us his view, and then I can obviously add it to that, right?
Yeah, so I am a big proponent of the cybersecurity teams doing their job, right? By the time the email reaches the end user, right, it should be benign, right? So I'm a big proponent of, because I have a threat intel background, is understanding the campaign, right? Understanding why that particular threat actor or hacktivist is targeting your company.
Motive,
right?
basically.
Yeah, what is the motive? What is the reason, right? There are other telltale signs amongst phishing emails. For example, you would see a threat actor engaging in brute force attacks, right? And then following it up with a phishing email. So if you have a correlation rule where you see a certain subset of people being targeted for brute force attacks, you will see that immediately or within a little time, it will be followed with phishing emails. So again, campaigns are predictive to a certain degree, and you have to be able to understand the nature of those campaigns and beef up your detection rules and prevention rules to kind of respond to those campaigns. And then on the flip side, of course, right, awareness and incentivizing the results of the awareness is important.
Nice.
Yeah, and from my angle, what I generally say, use Threatcop. But let me tell you what exactly people do, right? How they start, right? What we have seen so far is, and I can talk about the people who come to our platform, right? We have a very easy going, so we call it AI Awareness Manager. So it takes the same time which you asked me the question, right? So you say, run, so you integrate with your Active Directory or the users where you can provision. So we already have all the kind of information that we need regarding the user, and it's one-click integration, so you can just do that. And once you have that, you can just say to our AI Awareness Manager that I wanted to run this to my users and make sure that you follow all the latest trend, right? So it goes back to understand what he mentioned, right, from a threat intel standpoint, that what kind of attacks that are happening. It curates those attacks, map that with the templates that are available, and automatically those are attacked, right? And then keep watching, right, that who's actually getting attacked and phished on those sides. And as soon as they do that, there's an automated, we call it teachable movement, right? So as soon as you get hacked and you give it training at that point of time, they're going to complete it. Otherwise, if you just send it 1 day after, 2 days after, they're going to forget it, right? So it's automatically being assigned, and the people do those completion, and then you again do the same exercise, right? So then you compare the results of what kind of impact that you were able to make, with a very significant kind of impact so far on those things. So just use the AI Awareness Manager. Just say, I want to run this campaign. So that's what we do at Threatcop. Yeah.
All right. Well, I would like to thank our guests, Pavan Kushwaha of Threatcop and Gautam Nijhawan of Eikon Therapeutics, for their insights today. Thank you both for being here. It's been great to have you.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Gautam, again. Great insights. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.